Welcome to Holley Terminator X training part 9. In this video, we're going to be exploring our basic sensor setup and configuration. These are the core channels that we have to make sure are calibrated and working right in order to successfully calibrate and tune our engine. Things like our mat pressure, throttle position, coolant temperature, manifold air temperature, they have to be set up right in order to work with all the various tables that we have for fuel and spark timing delivery. So in this video, we're going to learn how to set them up and configure everything so that you're going to be ensured when you start your calibration process, everything is going to be right and you know exactly what to look for and exactly what to change. Without further wait, let's jump into this video so we can check this out.
Okay, so let's get started. We're going to be taking a look at working with our basic sensor inputs with our Terminator X box. Basic sensor inputs are things like our mat pressure sensor, throttle position sensor, engine coolant temp sensor, intake air temp sensor, fuel pressure, and oil pressure. We have to make sure certain sensor inputs, such as our map sensor, are calibrated and scaled properly so that when we're doing any of our tuning or the engine's operating, it's going to be sourcing the proper amount of fuel and spark timing because it's used in our fuel table and our spark timing table as a source for load as the engine's operating. So things like our throttle position sensor are also critically important. That's going to be allowing and telling the idle control to function or not. Things like our engine coolant temperature and intake air temperature, they're used in our fuel calculations and the spark timing calculations, depending on where we're operating at. If we have a cold engine, we generally want to add a little bit more fuel, add a little bit more spark timing to stabilize the combustion as the engine is coming up to operating temperature. So those also play a vital role in the engine's functioning and the calibration process and getting our engine successfully tuned. So we need to go through and make sure that these core basic sensor inputs are calibrated properly and that everything's registering properly before we even fire up the engine. If something isn't right, we might have a calibration scale set incorrectly in the software. We also may have a wiring problem. We cannot do any tuning until we resolve the problems with the sensor wiring. We need to know what to look out for as far as the sensor registration and readings go. If something doesn't seem right, then we need to correct it, but I'm going to be showing you what to look for and then how to do the calibration process for the map pressure sensor, throttle position sensor, intake air, engine coolant temperature, oil, and fuel pressure. Let's jump in and take a look at how we're going to be accomplishing this. So if we move up to the top here, we have our second icon. It's labeled sensors. Now I do want to note at this point in time, I'm in the offline mode. I have my USB cable plugged into my Terminator X box. My vehicle is powered on, but the engine is not running. And right here, if we go to the very top, my USB link, I have not clicked on this, establishing my online status. So if you take a look down here at the bottom, my data here, my information that would be normally live streaming, isn't doing anything because I'm not actually connected and online with the box. Although I'm connected, powered up, I'm ready to go. All I have to do go and jump up here to the top and click USB link. That'll allow me to get online with the box and start to take a look at this data here. First thing I want to do is just point out is that we cannot go and edit our sensors tab here. Anything in our sensors tab, if we're online, this will be grayed out. So we have to do this in the offline status. And they're assuming when Holley's going in and they set all this up, they're assuming that if you've set your core basic inputs up here already, there's going to be no reason when you're online doing your fuel or spark timing tuning, they need to jump in here and edit and change any of your basic sensor scalars. So that's why it grays out, but I wanted to point that out right now because we are able to click on this and edit this. It will go and gray out as soon as I establish and go online with my box. So looking down our list here under the sensors, we find we have a map pressure sensor, coolant temp sensor, manifold air temperature, oil pressure, and fuel pressure. So within our windows here, we have basic drop downs. We can select here sensor type. We can use our drop down to select one of the available sensor types we have to work with. Now, let's go here and do one thing here real quick. Now again, I am in the offline mode. I'm going to go here to my USB link and it's going to be prompting me up here, TPS auto set required. TPS auto set needs to be performed before startup. So at this point, we've uploaded the file to our Terminator X box. So I've uploaded this file that I'm working with here. I have not done a TPS learn, so it doesn't know the min and max positions of my throttle percent. And that's going to be very important again for idle control and other functions within the ECU. We will do that here in 1 second. Let's just click OK so we can get online here. If we go to OK. Now down here at the bottom, notice that my parameters here are streaming. So I can see that if we're looking at our data here, the numbers are fluctuating a little bit. If we take a look here at the top under sensors, that's what we're focusing on right now. We can see here RPM is showing stall because the engine RPM, we're not doing anything, the engine's not running. TPS is showing needs calibration. Now we just talked.
Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.